I don't have a Twitter. I'm not going to have a TikTok. I can't remember the last time I opened my Instagram app, and it's rare that I log on to Facebook. But the other day, I actually opened my Facebook, logged in. Now, normally whenever I go to Facebook, I look at my memories, see if there's any pictures I want to save, and then I'll scroll through some MiniTruck groups, and that's when I came across a conversation. The conversation was what happened to all the OG MiniTrucking parts. Stuff like Testarossa mirrors, Texas tails, Targa kits, and wink mirrors. Then I started thinking, I've had a wink mirror for a couple of months now. Wait a minute. You can find a wink mirror on eBay or Amazon or anywhere like... but it's not a wink mirror. It's a wink style mirror. Now, I don't know if the wink name brand is still in business, but I do know that you can get a wink style mirror on eBay or Amazon or somewhere like that. Or in this case, you can run down to your local AutoZone, pick one up. There's the part number if you want it. Now, back in the day, most MiniTrucks out there had a wink mirror in the cab. Due to the fact that this is not a wink mirror, I don't know if you consider this to be OG or if it would be OG style. But I'll tell you this, a mirror like this is OG style MiniTrucking right there. So let's get this installed in the death trap. This particular wink mirror is made by Pilot. There's your model number again. Rally also makes a wink mirror. So let's get it out of the box. See what we can do with it. We got a box full of parts. And we've got our mirror. Alright, so what we got here is knobs for adjusting the mirror. You got to put the screw in the knob. You got a bracket that allows you to connect to the roof panel via this bracket, which will screw to the roof. This will connect here. Then you can adjust the mirror up and down and tilt it by virtue of this slot. Now, I will point out, just like back in the 80s, this screw right here is pre-installed, but the one on the other end is not. And the reason is, you can get to this spot to stick the bolt through, but you can't on this end. Of course, you could just read the directions that are printed on the box, but ain't nobody got time for that. I will also point out that on the back of the mirror, there are 2 bolt holes that you can mount a mirror type mount directly to the windshield, 2 of them, and screw them into this to get your mount points rather than screwing through your roof and your headliner. Now, I would recommend put your nut inside your knob, no matter how that sounds. Dadgummit, it's such a pain in the butt. And then put a piece of tape over it so that your nut doesn't fall out. But I'm not a good example from the idea of taking... I'm not a good example of taking my own advice. What am I missing here? Okay. Seems that the square part of the bolt is sticking through the plastic more than it should. That is not where... think? Well, let's go back to the directions, boy. That's what I thought. That goes up top, that goes down bottom, but this sticks out too far. All right, I couldn't find any washers that were small enough, but I did find a 1/4 bolt, or nut rather. So we're gonna screw that on and hope that nobody notices that other than me. And of course it'll kill my OCD because it's on the side of the truck that I'm driving. I'm gonna need a wrench to, hey dummy, you were supposed to put lock washers on that too. And the other ones. That's we can't get it right on the first try. It's the motto of this place, ain't it? All right, good enough. Do that on the other end. You know what? That would be a lot cleaner if I swap this around and put that nut on the inside. You know, like the directions say. All right, so this truck ain't got a headliner. Of course, it ain't got a roof either. Guess that makes a headliner useless. So that's gonna help the scenario of installing this mirror. And the reason is, the lack of a headliner is gonna let me see where the metal is versus the outside metal. The last thing you want to do is run that screw all the way through to the outside because you drilled it in the wrong spot. Now obviously this only applies on the first generation S10 that I'm aware of, but we've covered this before. This plate here sticks out further than your windshield bow, and there's your exterior metal up in that hole right there. So that's how far you got. What it comes down to for me is that the screws that they provided with the mirror looked a little too long, plus they were not self-tapping, which meant that we'd have to drill a pilot hole. I wonder if that's where the pilot came from. And then put your screw in it. That seems like a lot of work. So I found some self-tapping screws. Let's see if we can install this thing. Aha! It is possible to install this upside down. And if you do install it upside down, you ain't gonna see jack, but your passenger will get a 160-degree view of whatever it is you're about to back into. I know this is going to show you the phone in the mirror, but when you get it in place, you want to adjust it forward or backward on either the driver's side or the passenger side. Hey, there's you. So that you can line up this panel with this panel. And the reason I say that, if it's not lined up proper, then this will be visible to the driver. And ideally, if you adjust this forward or backward, then you will create a scenario where those two pieces of glass become one viewing surface. But you got to get it lined up just right for that to happen. I should also point out that this point that these two panels meet is supposed to be center of your steering wheel. And that was kind of difficult because of the lack of mount point on each side. Now, if I'd have spun that bracket around the other direction, then I could have slid that over about here. That'd be about another inch. This is actually about 3 inches off, so when it's all said and done, it wouldn't have made a huge difference, but it would have helped. Now, the downside to this is that every four-wheel drive behind you is going to be shining in with 160 degrees of rear view. and it's going to be really hard to adjust this unless you keep it loose, which means that, well, it's not going to stay put. OG MiniTruck. Now the panels in this mirror don't exactly line up to the point that you get one seamless viewing surface, but my first Wink style mirror was an actual Wink mirror back in 1989, and I believe it had similar issues with it. It wasn't much better, but that's relying on my memory, and 1989 was a long time ago. Now, I don't know if you consider this to be OG or OG style, but it is definitely mini trucking. Peace, love, and mini trucks.